Hang on a second here. I think this is better. There we go. Okay. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is for you at your wherever you are. This is Dex Togoyasu, as I always say, for some strange reason, even though you know the name on the stream. I think this is my new rig. I'm not sure. I got to continue playing with the settings. I thought I had it fixed, but I think there's a problem between because I was playing with it with VTube Studio on my iPhone, and I don't know if it's not working or what. So, but we'll play with it and work with it as this. So tonight we're just gonna do some chatting and possibly even some Duolingo. But I did want to try and talk about some of the games I used to play, collectible card games, maybe even dialing into some table games or whatever. We'll see. But you know, because of the fact that I'm not streaming this weekend, I don't stream on the weekends, and I have called out on like numerous Twitter posts and YouTube channels about Tsukoma-sana's retiring, you know, her graduation, as they say. So I wanted to take just a moment from the stream here, because as a Sana-lite, I am gonna miss her. She was I'm saying like she's dead. She's not dead. She's a wonderful spirit. She's a wonderful person, and I swear it was always a joy to actually tune in and see her just so happy and never really letting anything get to her. She was always trying to make everybody else happy, and it was such a joy to watch. So I'm gonna try to say this in Japanese, and I'll say in English. But I want to wish her all the joy, the luck, and blessings going forward for you. So hang on, let me do it again. Sana, this is for you. Tsukoma-sana. I wish all the joy, luck, and blessings going forward for you. We all love you and pray for the best for you. 今後のすべての喜び、祝福を祈ります。私たちはあなたを大好き。最善を祈ります。頑張って。Here's a drink for you. And I think, as they say in Aussie, and I'm sure some people could correct me, get some macas, chukas for the future, see you around like a rizzle. I'm sure I butchered that, but we're just gonna roll with it anyway. I had to do some Aussie. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's see. Let's let me dial me back dial me back here a little bit. Man, we're not gonna jump into Duolingo. I think what we'll do is we'll start off, and the funny thing was, before I started doing this stream tonight, I was actually watching a YouTube channel. I mentioned him in the last stream, Toy Galaxy. Dan Larson is the guy that runs the channel. Wonderful, great channel. I talked about it, even brought him up for a little bit on the last stream, because like, holy cow, is it so cool that he goes into such depth over these the history of some of the toys and the cartoons that we know. It's really driving me nuts, my mouth moving. I want to see if I can do a quick adjustment here. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, but how about this? Does this actually work a little bit more? Maybe not so much. Let me drop it back a little bit more. All right, how about this? I think this might work a little bit better. Maybe if I dial back the entry point, 0.05. How about this? Is this a little better? Maybe. We'll roll with it, because it's not as like... It's not like that, so... Now that's not going to drive me nuts anymore. He was actually talking about a couple of movies that had I vaguely remembered. The first one was The Secret of Nim by Don Bluth, and I never saw the movie. I had a book about the movie, like a picture book when I was a little kid. But I remember Don Bluth animation because I loved the style, especially with like American Tail 5, and then later on when he did Dragon's Lair 2 and Ace Ace something or other. Space Ace? Yeah, Space Ace. Those Laserdisc games that you basically were paying tens of dollars just to basically watch a movie, and hopefully you click or move the joystick in the right direction where the flashing was. I was honestly surprised when I saw those games on iOS, no less. And the cool thing was they actually had a no, just watch it. So you can just watch it from start to finish instead of playing the game. And I'm like, you know, that is actually a really good idea, really good decision on the game. Because, oh my God, it was so dodgy. I remember spending $5, $10 at the arcade and just going, about ready to slam my fist through that glass as a kid. But it was one of those things where it's just so shocking to see the quality of that animation, you know. And you're like, this is graphics? And then you find out, okay, it's Laserdisc, and it's really, really interesting choice. But yeah, it was a frustrating game. All three of them were. But I loved Don Bluth animation style. I never watched, I think it's Anastasia, which I think is based on the Russian story about Anastasia. I'm not sure. But I never saw that. I did see American Tail in the theaters. I did not watch American Tail. No, I did watch American Tail 2. That was on tape. What else did he do? There was a couple other things. Oh yeah, All Dogs Go to Heaven. Oh God, that was a hard one to watch. Oh, it was so hard. Like the way they, and I'll tell you, Don Bluth does not pull punch. He's almost like Laika. He's almost like Laika Animation with their movies like Kubo and the Two Strings, where it's like real dark and it doesn't pull any punches as far as like death and stuff. So I applaud that, but man, if you're not ready for it, it hits you like a Mack truck, man. Oh my God. Well, I mean, we got dog hell, if I remember correctly, from All Dogs Go to Heaven. Oh, that was brutal. That was like nightmarish in a way. But it was just funny. I was just watching, and he was talking about, and the other one he talked about was The Dark Cauldron. And I had forgotten about that Disney movie. I never saw it. I also never watched the Dark Crystal. Was it Black Crystal, Dark Crystal? That's the one with David Bowie, I think. I never saw that one either. But I didn't see the Black Cauldron because I just wasn't interested in it. And I don't even remember when it came out in theaters. I don't even think I paid attention to it. But man, watching what was going on with it and how all the nightmarish stuff that happened at Disney up to that point that just basically was a kiss of death for this movie. Don Bluth taking his 9 animators and leaving right the year before it was supposed to, I guess, be done or something like that. And Disney put Dark Cauldron on the back burner and chose to prioritize Fox and the Hound. And Don Bluth's like, yeah, no, we're not doing this. And all of him and his guys left. And then they had to push it back another, 4 years, I think, from that point. And they had all these inexperienced people doing this. The lady they brought in to help flesh out the script agreed to disagree, as Dan Larson calls it. And she pieced out on the script because like it went from a trilogy to a single movie, and it was from a 5-book, so it was like a 5-book series, award-winning 5-book series, to supposed to be 3 movies, and then dropped down to 1 movie. I'm like, yeah, that's things are going bad when it goes down like that. Oh man. But it was just weird to see that Disney actually greenlit this thing, and it's such a departure for them. Like the Sword and Sorcery, it's like I could see it being a Don Bluth movie, and I think Don Bluth would have done a great job with it. But man, Disney, I guess it was almost responsible for killing the studio. That's just shocking. Man, it was just funny to see that because I just either blocked it out or just didn't remember it. But that was crazy. Ah, man. So anyway, I think we'll probably go into talking about the games right now. Let me see if I can kind of whoa, hang on, slide over here a little bit. There we go. All right, and let's open this up here. Boom. Hey, so the funny thing is, the first card game I wanted to talk about that I played all right, a little bit more backstory. When I was in high school, my school had a can I hang on? Let me just kind of fix this here a little bit. Uh can I just nope. I just want to open this up. Just want to stretch it down. No? Okay, we're good. All right, fine. I was high school was horrible for me for the first couple years. I think a lot of people would say that. But the one I had two clubs that I was in. The first one was Model United Nations, but the one that I really enjoyed the most was Strategy Games Club. And it was cool because, yeah, we played chess, Go, Shogi. Shogi was hard to learn. I don't even know if I still remember how to play it fully because it's like all these different... Like you take chess and like amp up the difficulty and actually have like battlefield tactics. But we also played a lot of tabletop games, war games primarily. Like we played one of my favorites was Axis and Allies. I don't know how many people remember that. I'm surprised it's still being sold. Though I think it got revised a bunch of times, so I don't know if it's like the original. But let me kind of slide over a little bit more. God, let me see if I can look that up. Hang on. Axis and Allies game. All right. Images. Can we just see the box art? Because I want to see if I can find the original. This looks like the original. So, it's Amazon. Yeah, this is not the original, but it looks almost like it. The cool thing was, so yeah. Hang on, can we get zoom in here? Yeah, so this is the cool thing. There's like, if I remember correctly, it was 5 sides. So you had somebody who could play as the Japanese, you had somebody play as the Soviets, as England, which was basically England in Europe, England, and then you had Germany, and then you had the United States, and England I think also had Australia. They did a little weird, if I remember correctly. But the cool thing was you had all these different units and stuff. So you had naval, you had air, and you had land-based. So like, yeah, you can see like right here, there's like a bomber, and hey, how's it going? Sorry, I ended up I know I said I was going to talk about collectible card games and stuff, but I ended up starting to talk about tabletop games that I was playing and kind of leading into that. And this is a board game, war board game called Axis and Allies, and it's huge. I lost count of the number of pieces, but I was kind of talking about how you basically play like World War II out, and one person plays as the Soviets, one person plays as the English, and then one person plays as the Americans, the Japanese, and the Germans. And you just kind of like move your pieces, and you slowly build an army up, and take over or release countries and stuff like that. So this was a game I played a lot and really liked it. And it had some crazy times. Like you rolled 6-sided die to actually determine whether you hit or not. But it was really interesting. I'm surprised to still see it being sold. So, yeah, this is like the naval combat. You could actually launch airplanes off of aircraft carriers. Really detailed. And then this is like tech levels and stuff. Oh, no problem, Onikiwa. Oh man, what was that? EL? Okay, no problem. Yeah, like I said, starting off on tabletop games. I was talking about how when I was in high school, I've been in really like a nostalgic thing, but don't worry about it, man. I've lost count of the number of times I've posted on YouTube, and it's like, crap, I gotta delete that. That's the wrong one. Especially like because I manage social media for the company I work at evening, and oh man, I have got to be careful what account I'm logged into. Yeah, so I was talking about how I was in 2 clubs, Model United Nations, which ironically enough is not the reason why I love Japan so much. It's actually Strategy Games Club. This is one of the games we played, Axis and Allies. We also played games like chess, Go, and Shogi. shogi was a brutal one to try to learn because that's got like you think chess is bad, but holy cow! Like all the piece, this one had even more piece movements. But yeah, so I played this, but this is also where I played a lot of the collectible card games I actually started to play, and one of them was actually this one here. I shouldn't say collectible card games because this is actually a box set. And does this actually have the picture of the box? I don't think it does. So apparently this guy, the original game was called Modern Naval Battles. And it was a boxed set. There was no expansion packs or anything like that, but it was cards. And a cool thing is apparently the guys that originally made the game, the rights reverted back to them. And they decided to release the game free. So you can actually download, and I'm try to remember to put the link in the show. I'm horrible about putting links in. I am so sorry. But this actually has, I already had opened up, has links to the printable PDFs for the cards. So you could actually print all of the cards for like all the actions and the ships and stuff and play the game. And the cool thing is it's with, I believe, three 6-sided die, I think, each person rolls. And you end up having, yeah, here you go. So you end up with ships and stuff. And the cool thing too is it's not like you don't build your deck. Like all the ships, because it's all these nations. So you have American ships, you have British ships, you have, French, you have Soviet. I can't remember if they have Japanese ships actually. I don't think because this was after this was actually after really more later in the war, after World War II. But I wanted to say I thought I remembered Japanese ships in here because I'm pretty sure I remember the Akira, oh god, I'm blanking on the names of them. The Taiho, the aircraft carrier. But anyway, so the cool thing was about this is you didn't build your deck. You've shuffled all the ships together. So all these ships we had shuffled together, and you deal out 7. I think you dealt out 7 ships to each person. And you could have 2 people play, or you could, I think we at one point had even 5 people playing. Like it was crazy. And the rest of the ships get put in a stack in the middle of the table. And you take the ships that you've got and you set them up. You can either set them up in 1 row or you can set them up to 3 rows deep. And the cool thing was, I shouldn't say the cool thing, the really important thing about that is the way you fight. So like in the case of here, the Kirov, the Soviet ship here, it has a gun, a 5-inch gun, 2 different types of missiles. So this is the way you can attack with a ship. If you had this ship on the table, guns could actually only be fired from row 1 to the other player's row 1. So if they had 3 rows, you couldn't hit the second or third row with that. If the ship had missiles, you could shoot them from the first and second of your own row to the first and second of the other row, of the other player. And the third row was really only for like aircraft carriers, because they could actually launch airstrikes. I don't see one here to give you. Oh, here we go. So this one here, this has 2 airstrikes, and you could launch them, and the airstrike could hit any ship, but it was the airstrikes and torpedoes were the only things that could hit the third row. And each turn, you could choose to move 1 ship between the rows. So you could actually take, like if you had 3 rows, it sounds complicated, but it's a lot easier because it's not like I'll tell you, I used to play miniatures, where you actually had miniatures and you had to take a tape measure to measure out how far away your opponent's tank was, and then you had to calculate what obstacles were in the way, and then you roll the dice to see if you actually hit. If it's a glancing shot, where in the tank it hit. That's crazy. But this game was actually kind of simplified a bit, where you had ships, but you also had submarines. And up here, these are the actions. So you got 7 of these at the beginning. So, and again, everybody you shuffled and mixed them together, and you dole out 7 to each player. So you have, it's basically it wasn't so much a board game; it was a tabletop game. So I'll show you really quick because this is a nightmare. Hang on. Tank miniatures. You've heard of, I'm sure you've heard of Warhammer, right? I've never played Warhammer, but this is very similar to it. So like, yeah, uh, this would probably be similar enough. So you would have, well, this is more fantastical, but um, yeah, our the guy who ran, yeah. It was just straight up tabletop, like not board game, but tabletop. Yeah, and you're right. It was great. Like we would literally, this was in our library. We always held the game in the library because the club in the library, because the librarian was the one who ran the club, and he had collected this huge collection of tabletop World War II type board games. So like I said, there was Axis and Allies, there was Hunt for Red October. No, it was another Tom Clancy one. Red something or other. But it was a board game. Then there was one called Battle of Britain. Then there was some naval ones like Bismarck. Man, and the cool thing, here's the thing. The cool thing why this club is the reason why I fell in love with Japan and really dedicated a lot of my life to studying about it is because we would always have there's other reasons I'm not going to get into, some pretty bad stuff that made me that really kind of was hitting me pretty hard. Maybe someday I'll tell it, but skip that. In the game club, we actually had, it was either quarterly or, hey gaming, welcome. We actually had either quarterly or semesterally, I can't remember, a tournament. So the librarian who was the head of the strategy games club, he picked a game and said, okay, it was like a tier match, so you could rank, so you could get on the gaming trees, and 2 against 2, and then you keep narrowing it down until it's the last 2 people to play. But in order to play, you had to actually write a report. So educational element. But it could be about anything of the game. So if you played a game like, say, Battle of Britain, which was specifically like, the Luftwaffe, the German Air Force attacking Britain, you could write about the Luftwaffe itself. You could write about the RAF. You could write about the radar used in England. Anything you want. It just had to have some pertinence to the game. And I like doing it. I went for Battle of Britain. I wrote up a report on the Luftwaffe and actually did all the research, and I had transparencies, for crying out loud. So I had a projector and stuff like that. What? Okay, I'm going to be talking about games, so but what was I talking about? So I had transparencies and stuff like that, and I actually went around and they had me actually present this report to other classes, but what happened was there was one time where we ended up playing the game Midway, and if you've studied, obviously, Japanese history, Midway was a huge naval battle between the U.S. and the IJN. And I realized I knew nothing about Japan. What I knew was, from Back to the Future, I knew the best shit was made in Japan. From James Bond movies, I knew that the Meiji Castle was a ninja training facility for some reason. I knew Nintendo was from Japan. So, of course, I also knew about Shinobi, or Ninja Gaiden, I should say. But it was nothing like serious. So I ended up realizing I wanted to do the report on Japan because I got bored with writing about America because, American military has been all over the place, even in media, but you never saw anything about the Japanese military force. So I had no idea. So I went to the librarian. The school library only had one book. It was like a Fodor's travel guide. Useless. I wanted to know about what the Japanese society was like before and during the war. I wanted to learn as much as possible. So we ended up I went to the school, the town library. Again, nothing. It was like a regular geography book. We reached out to the counties around us. Nothing, except for 2 books. One was about Okinawa and one was about Iwo Jima, but it was from the U.S. perspective. And they were haunting to read because they were boots on the ground stories, but the wrong side. I wanted Japanese perspective. I wanted actual Japanese perspectives, whether it was from citizens or military. So we ended up writing a letter to the New York City public library system because it was the only thing we could think that would have possibly any books. So they had me write a letter. We sent it down, and we waited. And like a month goes by, nothing. 2 months goes by. I've only got like 2 months left before the game tournament, and I'm like, well, maybe I have to change up and write about American stuff or just general. And then I'm walking by the library once, and the librarian comes out, and he grabs me and says, dude, Dex, you got to get in here. There's a box for you. I'm like, a box? What are you talking about? So I go in, and there in his office on the table is a box that's got my name on it. And it's from the New York Public Library, like from New York City. And I'm like, what the? And on the top, there was this envelope that had a letter in it. I wish to God I kept the letter. I did not value stuff like I do now. But I opened it up, and one side was written in English, and the other side was written in Kana. And it turned out the letter had gotten down there. And they really liked the fact that I was trying to be, I wanted an honest perspective. I basically wanted to know, what did it mean to be Japanese, and what was it like during this time of the war? You know, why did Japan join the fight against the Allies? And they sent me as like, it was like 20-some books, all written and all translated into English by Japanese translators, you know. And we're talking books like The Gorin no Sho by God, who was the Japanese sword fighter? Miyamoto Musashi, right? There was books of like Bochan, which is like a lot of younger Japanese read that. There were books about Shinto, Buddhism. There was books about even relatively modern stuff at the time, like I think it was like modern Japan, Bushido in modern Japan or something like that. There was all these books, and I was like, dude, this is amazing. And the letter was like, they were so excited to have somebody who wanted to write a genuine report about, you know, this perspective and not just, you know, fluff or something like that. So they sent me all this, and I started reading through it, and I'm reading through it, and I started to read about, you know, taking the high road of Buddhism. I started reading about how Shinto, valuing the life of everything. And yeah, it was, they'd even sent me books, and this is what really ignited them. They sent me there was a book about the Sengoku period. I wish I could remember the name of it. But this is where I started learning about the unifiers, you know, Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu, which is where I got my last name from, is Ieyasu, Tokugawa. It was so cool to actually read the Japanese perspective, and that was to me the most important thing. So, you know, a lot of concepts like hone and tatamae, things like you know, the tallest nail gets pounded down. You know, there's the one that's shogunai. You know, all of these concepts, I'm reading about them and learning, and I'm like, this makes way more sense to me than a lot of the stuff that I was feeling like in America. You know, I'm not saying for one second that I'm like, oh, I should have been born Japanese or that stuff. I hate that, but Japanese society made way more sense to me. Because of the structure. It has its problems. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely know that. I've got a relative, she's from Japan, and, you know, she loves it, but she also is not afraid to say, look, you know, there's still a lot of problems over there. But she absolutely adores the fact that I take this so seriously. And she has no problem like helping correcting me when I'm trying to type Japanese, and she's like, I have no idea what you said, but I think this is what you meant. Oh man, but that writing that report for Midway started me on the path. So we're talking like over 20-some years of 20 years of studying about Japanese history and stuff like that, you know, culture and all this. And that's where I really came into where I fell in love with the country itself. And again, I've never been there, which is hilarious, but mostly because I was afraid of traveling, unfortunately, when I was a little younger, which was stupid, because when I had to travel for work, it turns out I love traveling. Yeah, so Anyway, that was a little diversion. But that was where I learned to play this game. And this is, like I said, a really cool game. It's not as complex as it seems, but, you have what's your favorite aspect of Japanese history? Sengoku period. I love studying about the Sengoku period, especially the unifiers. Each one of them, I don't know if you probably have heard this since you study way more in depth probably than I have, but I love the analogy that describes the three unifiers, and it's the story of a songbird, and I believe it goes something along the lines of like this: there's a songbird, and the three unifiers are sitting in front of this bird, waiting for it to sing. And Oda Nobunaga says to the bird, "Little bird, if you don't sing, I will kill you." Toyotomi Hideyoshi, then the bird doesn't sing. Toyotomi Hideyoshi decides to try, and he says to the bird, "Little bird, if you don't sing, I will make you sing." But Tokugawa Ieyasu is watching all this, and he says to little bird, if you don't sing, I will wait for you to sing. And I absolutely love that. It's the reason why he gained the time the Sly Fox. Why he took over from Toyotomi Hideyoshi. And I believe he actually engineered a coup against him. But he felt so guilty because he had promised Oda Nobunaga to look after this young man. And he felt like he had to betray the young man in order to actually see the Japan unified what he felt correctly. And his government, like it or not, is what led to several hundred years of peace, And that's just studying that was like one of those huge things I absolutely love. So yeah, that's my favorite part. But I will say I do enjoy, as far as culture, like obviously the music because I'm trying to learn the Tsukuru Shamisen. But absolutely, I also do love, because I studied when I was younger. I studied Aiki Jujitsu, which is supposed to be like the martial art the samurai were taught. We had to wear the hakama and everything like that, which was so cool. But it was all about controls and stuff, and that's what I like that. I'd prefer not to know how to hurt somebody really badly, but if I can put them in an arm lock or, a leg lock or pin them, that to me is a lot better and far more effective. But yeah, the Sengoku period is my absolute favorite, and I am waiting for a game to come out. I'm gonna share it here because there's a game I've wanted to play on stream, and it's called Medieval Dynasty. I actually own this game, Medieval Dynasty. I'm sure I know I spelled medieval wrong. Here it is. So it's an interesting game because it's a town builder, but it's a first-person perspective. I don't want to mess up somebody's stream here. Come on, go away. Shoot. But it's really cool because you get plunked down. It's not like it's a randomly generated world. It's actually a crafted world, kind of similar to Subnautica in a way, obviously on land. And you can actually go and you find a plot of land in there and you build a home and slowly can build a town around it. Yes. But they have Wild West Dynasty? Wild West? Oh, that's weird. But they've got another one coming out that I am absolutely excited for. And maybe it's not them specifically, but let me see. It's Sengoku. Yeah. Sengoku Dynasty. I am waiting for this with bated breath. It's supposed to release in 2022. It's on my wish list. Oh my god. Supposedly they have partnered with several Japanese historians about the Sengoku period, and they're trying to make it as accurate as possible to living in that time. And you can choose the path of the warrior, choose the path of a monk, or choose the path of a peasant. Here you go. The way of the leader, the way of the craftsman, warrior, and the monk. But it's a similar thing where you can actually build a home, you build a community. It's a life simulator, yeah. And it's crafting, building mechanics. You can wander around. You actually become involved with like some leadership or whatever. Yes, absolutely. Oh my god, absolutely, dude. When this comes out, I want to try to play this day one. Probably, I should probably try it first to make sure there's no bugs because I don't want to misrepresent the game badly. But oh my god, this is going to be so exciting. I'm happy. I will be happy when this launches. But yeah, this one right here, like, I cannot wait. Like, this is just beautiful. Like, I mean, granted, Medieval Dynasty is really beautiful too. I actually discovered Medieval Dynasty from the YouTube channel Let's Game It Out, where the guy just destroys a game. I swear to God, the guy's made a channel out of being a beta tester, and he figures out ways to break the game. And he did it not too badly, but I'm watching, I'm going, this is kind of cool. Medieval Dynasty is kind of cool, you know? But then to see that they're making this, I'm like, oh my God, yes. Yes, look at this. This is so beautiful. I know. I'm like, we're like halfway through 2022 already. And it's like, come on, guys, release it. But yeah, I can't wait for this game to come out. And I'm absolutely going to do day one or day two play on that. So there's that. They actually, and Modern Naval Battles, they renamed it to Cold War Naval Battles, which is kind of a little, makes more sense now since we don't have battleships anymore. But the cool thing is, you can actually download, like I said, you can download the PS, and apparently they released 5 expansions for the game. I never even saw these before. So this is where they can actually make the rules complicated. But I got to remember to add these to the show notes, or whatever you want to call them. The next one I played when I went to college, because I blew all my money on stupid CCGs. I did not know how to manage my money at all. Oh my God, my parents were so disappointed in me. Was on this, and the game, it's called Galactic Empires. This was a weird game. Like, you actually played as different alien races, and I don't remember how many there were. Basically, every expansion pack was adding a new empire to the game, and you had fleets, you had all sorts of, you could put plants. So in some ways, you were gaining resources from plants. So it's kind of like Magic the Gathering. I never played Magic. I had bought a few packs and sold them, you know. But this I still have. I have a whole slew of these stupid cards here. But it was hard to play. And then they add the art wasn't too bad. The art was like dodgy. There were some cards that would be like, oh, it's so really cool. But then there were some that were like this right here, very simplistic, which, you know, is fine, you know, gets the job done. But then they started adding these weird rule sets like psionics. You know, yeah, powers of the mind. There it is, powers of the mind. And I'm like, how in the world does that happen with like ship combat and stuff like that? But, you know, I bought it because I was stupid with my money. But you can't get it anymore from what I heard. I'm pretty sure you can't get it anymore. But this is like, it's almost like harkening back to the 1970s art and stuff like that. So I think that's what kind of like scratched an itch for me. I don't know. But this right here was a very complicated game. I think it's probably the reason why I couldn't find anybody to play with me. But I want to see if I can find like the rules or something like that, because the Card Museum, NobleNet Games. Wait, are these guys own the game now? This would be weird if you can buy it. Oh, did you look at this? This is crazy. Can't be. This game was like, God, we're talking 20 years ago almost. Galactic Invaders starter deck. Yeah, let's see. Like, the art's weird, but dominate the ready to start. I don't even remember the rules. It was so crazy, and it got so confused. It was more or less just, I was a completionist at that point, and just wanted to have the cards, which is sad. So that was really just a collectible thing, and I had played it once or twice, and my friends and I, we just kind of looked at each other and like, dude, I don't know what the hell we're doing, but you know what? It's cool art, you know, it's fine. But when I went, that was at the 2-year college I went to. So when I went to the 4-year college, I ended up getting sucked into, I saw this site. I could not believe when I found this site. I'm like, this is giving me like GeoCities vibes. If you don't remember, that's totally fine. But this is like way back in the day when you had like flashing GIFs and everything like that, and like back when Netscape was a web browser. I'm telling you, dude, that's crazy. But this one here, Star Wars collectible card game. This is where I wasted so much of my money because I went and I bought the unique cards. So I went and bought like Luke Skywalker. I had Darth Vader, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca. And the card store, I ended up having to buy those separate ones. So I was paying like $20, $50 per card, you know, and then buying a box of them for like $200. It was stupid, you know. But let me see. Do these have the pictures of them? I mean, the art was great because they were actually like they were right straight from the movies and stuff. And yeah, you had planets too, and these ones actually gave you like, you know, dark side, light side. The rules changed a lot. There was a second edition. I played the first edition. So it's hard for me to actually like remember how to play because you had the power and ability for, you had force sensitive people. You had, and this was actually before the prequels came out. So this was like episodes 4, 5, and 6. Yeah, I'd grab Moff Tarkin. I don't even remember all the ways it played. Like you had Darth Vader with a lightsaber, Grand Moff Tarkin. Do I remember Grand Admiral Thrawn? I don't remember. I don't know. But the cards weren't red. They actually, there was one, maybe this is just because it's a demo deck, but there was, if you were dark side, you had black edging, or if Rebel, it was like white edging. So it's fine. But I was collecting these like crazy because I wanted like the complete set. So you had like the different Star Destroyers, the different ships. I don't think I actually had Boba Fett and Slave One. The AT-ATs, no, I didn't even know the AT-ATs had names. Like, for crying out loud, this is like crazy. But then you had the action cards here, like Force Lightning. Like, what's this? Target any character, even a captive, present with Emperor. Used. Target is defense value -4 for remain. Yeah, this is almost getting to like Magic the Gathering level of complexity. I don't think you tap the planets or something like that, but yeah. So this was like the last of this collectible card games I played because by this point I was like realizing I was just stupid with my money, and I stopped. I still have these cards, no less. I think I'm gonna sell them, but yeah. So it was one of those things where I just decided to talk about this stuff because I was watching, and I talked about like I said in my last stream about Toy Galaxy, the YouTube channel, and he talks about all these old toys and stuff like that, and I just got starting to think about these card games, and I'm like, oh man, I remember this, and then it reminded me about, you know, Strategy Games Club and all that stuff, but good sake. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna leave that there because I want to actually remember to put that in. Oh, I might as well do this. Hope you don't mind. I'll do a little Duolingo, but I'll still talk, obviously, because like I caught up. Gotcha again, dude. I'm sorry, I already am. I'm not a whale, thankfully, but oh my god, the stupid games. You don't even. The worst part is, you don't even realize you're paying until it's too late. Yeah, I know. No, I know. Dude. There was a game a few years ago. I think it was Dragon Veil. Was it Dragon Veil? We lost another. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm sorry, man. You know, I know you're probably disappointed in me now. Oh my god. I played Dragon Veil and I spent money on that thing. I didn't spend a crazy amount, but it was enough that it was like, oh, this is not good. Where's all the money going? Oh shoot. So I stopped playing for quite a long time. And then if HoloLive didn't start doing some of these gacha games, what was it? There was one called Blue something or other. Blue, oh god, what was it? Blue something. The girls are playing it, and Blue Horizon? No, that's not it. No, that's not it. Mobile game, Blue something or other. Blue. What is it? What is it? I don't remember. But it was the weirdest game. I swear, these gacha games, like, they spend like 5 minutes on the story or whatever. This one was weird because apparently you're like a sensei, you're like a teacher or a teaching assistant or something like that at a school where it's like post-apocalyptic, and there's multiple schools, and the girls in it like are like soldiers, and they have these weird halos on their head. And I'm watching like Mume play this thing, and I'm like, what am I watching? Like, what is this thing? But I ended up downloading it, and I'm like, oh, this is weird. I'm not into it. But I ended up getting into Azure Lane, and oh my god, I've spent a little bit of money on that. Not crazy, thankfully, but that one I've been playing for almost 2 years now. At least that one has gameplay. At least that one has a Bulletstorm game component to it, where it's not like these other ones. Like you just tap, and then you let it run for like an hour so it accumulates, or you can, then try again. Those ones I hate. I hate games like that anyway, especially when they put like energy. There was one game. I don't think it was necessarily gacha, but it had in-game currency, and it was, what was it called? I don't even remember. It was so long ago, but it was. I think sadly enough, there was even a Kim Kardashian version of the game. I was like, oh, we jumped the shark when they actually released a version that was Kim Kardashian. I'm like, why? It was some like, yeah, that's fair. A lot of gacha games don't put a lot of effort. Yeah, exactly. At least with Azure Lane, they release events where there's a huge amount of backstory and stuff. Like, they're actually putting thought into it. Although, from what I understand, it's like when they first launched, it was kind of like, you ever heard of the game Cancole? However you say it. Cancole or something like that. Yeah, Cancole game. It's Japanese only, but from what I understand, a lot of people will use what do you call them? VPNs to switch over to Japan so they can actually download and play the game. But of course, it's not translated in English. It's Japanese only. But Azure Lane is like the more lighthearted version of this. Apparently, in this game, you can actually lose your ship and they die. Like, they die. Like, these are ship girls. And if you aren't paying attention, they actually can die, and you lose all the time you invested in them. And I've read about guys that were so broken because, like, I wasn't paying attention, I didn't know, and they're dead now. How do I get them back? You can't get them back. Sorry. Like, oh my god, seriously. Apparently, the creator of the game wanted people to feel sad about the deaths of these ships, And apparently, there were some undertones of imperialism. Like imperialist Japan kind of things. I don't know. That's what some people said. I haven't read anything by the developer, but he was upset by Azure Lane because Azure Lane doesn't take the ship seriously, and like you're supposed to respect them and feel sad, feel like attachment to them. And it's like, people just want to have fun and play the game, build the characters, and at least this game has gameplay mechanics. You can train the ships up. You can outfit them with equipment and weapons, different cannons, different guns types, and then you can play manually, not just automatic, but you can actually play the game in the bullet hell kind of version of it, where you're on the battle and you're going up, and that's actually pretty cool. And you have to time when you want to launch the special attacks or whatever. So that I don't feel bad playing. I just try to make sure I don't go anywhere near the currency store because I'm like, oh god, don't even get me started on MMORPGs. Oh my god, those stupid things. I lost so many hours to World of Warcraft. Oh my god, I almost ended up playing. What was the first one? Oh god, what was the first one? I'm blanking on it. Crap. It was such a brutal one too. EverQuest. That's it. EverQuest. I didn't have a PC at the time. Thankfully, I had Mac. Otherwise, I would have gotten into this thing, probably. But I don't know if you're familiar with EverQuest, but that game was decided to be a masochist simulator because, like, it was going for quote-unquote realism. Like, there were no fast traveling. There was no, like, in World of Warcraft, you can get on a griffin and fly from one town to another or whatever. And, of course, after the the dragon, whatever, redid the entire world, it got a lot more easier to travel, I guess. I don't know. But EverQuest, there was no such thing as that. Like, you had to walk from one city to another or buy a horse, which was expensive, like a mount or something. And then it would take an hour real time to get there. And God help you if... Yes, yeah. You know what one I actually did lose a lot of time to? Star Wars Galaxies. I don't know if you ever heard of that one. You probably have, but like it unfortunately, I was so sad when this game basically closed down. It was so cool. When it first launched, it was great because it didn't have classes per se. It had skill trees, and you could take whatever skills you want. And there was non-combat classes and there was combat classes. I actually played basically as a merchant pistolier. So there was a skill tree for pistolier, for pistols, and you slowly leveled it up, and you gained new perks, new skills, new special attacks. But they also had merchant ones, and the merchant ones were cool because then you could start setting up vendors. You could build a shop. You could start offering like what was it? Star Wars Galaxies. Was it merchant? What was it called? What was it called? Shopkeeper, merchant, something or other. Merchant, yeah, pre-NG. I left the game before, and the new game experience. This is when basically they started chasing after World of Warcraft, and they dumbed the game down a lot. And I get the reason why, but they really alienated almost the entire player base. I can't remember what the skill tree was for this. Oh yeah, here we go. So this was a skill tree: advertising 1, 2, 3, and 4, efficiency, hiring, and management. So you get this hiring here is where you could actually hire NPCs to sell your wares. They were basically like vendors, but it was really cool. You could actually put down. You could actually turn your home into a store, no less. Set up a vendor, and it had decorating too. Like you could crafters could actually make furniture. Like they could make. You had armor smiths, you had weaponsmiths, but you also had there was architect, and they could actually make blueprints for houses. But it wasn't like they could actually redesign the house. They just learned how to build the blueprints for the pre-existing blueprints. But I believe they also had an architect skill line where they could build furniture. So they could build potted plants. They could build sofas. They could build entertainment. It was really cool. And then they could partner with a merchant to sell through their vendor, to sell through the vending, their vendors. That's at least the way it was supposed to work. And it was really, and for a long time it did, Where the game jumped the shark was when they decided to add force powers to it. Now, from the beginning of the game, they said the force was in the game, but you had to unlock it. You couldn't start off as a force-sensitive person. There was supposed to be really minimal Jedi, because this was during the Galactic Civil War. Jedi were being hunted down. And what they said was, if somehow you managed to unlock force sensitivity, you had to be careful. You couldn't use it in public, because if you did it around Imperial NPCs, you'd start gaining notoriety. You'd become, and then theoretically, if you gained enough, bounties could be actually set up against you, and player bounty hunters, because that was a skill tree you could take, was bounty hunter. They could take bounties against you and hunt you down. So that way it was supposed to keep the amount of force sensitive users down to a minimum. But they never released how to do it until somebody figured it out. And then the game just sank, because it turned out you had to, the way they did it, and I don't know why they did it this way. It really should have been like, I'm not a big fan of the game Rust. I played it once, but I didn't like it. But they have done some things where it's like, on character creation, certain attributes are decided and you can't change them, you know? I think it really should have been like that, where when you create your character, the game decides you are force sensitive or you're not force sensitive, but you have to learn how to unlock it. But instead, what they did was you ended up having to master a certain group of skill trees. So you had to, like in this case, you'd be a master merchant. You'd have to be a master pistolier. You could be a master. You had to be a master dancer, a master musician, master merchant, and then the talent would unlock. And when everybody found out, all of a sudden, the game just, nobody was playing the game anymore for the way it was designed. I was a merchant at the time, so I had all these I would have these harvesters that were harvesting resources for crafters. And because everybody was grinding, I was making a killing on credits, selling all the resources because people were buying these things in bulk because they wanted to, grind up the skill trees and figure out which skills they needed to unlock to unlock force sensitivity. But I noticed when it became so common that the business started to fall apart, it just started to fade away. And I got irritated by it. I was disappointed because I'm like, really, guys? And then they changed. Then the NGE started happening, and this was here. This was there was the CU, which is the combat upgrade. That was the first signs. I think it was the first signs when they were making it more World of Warcraft, whereas it was originally based upon skills and stuff like that. Like pre-NG, there was Jedi. That was bad. Where's Pistolier? Hang on. Here goes Pistolier. So Pistolier here had different things like pistol grips, pistol marksmanship, and this actually boosted percentages to hit. Pistol techniques, similar thing, and pistol stand. All of these things were modifiers. So, and allowed you, and as you got better, you could unlock different pistols. You can unlock, the ability to handle different, and it was really good. Like I liked it. It was fun. But the interesting thing was, so like you would gain these new things, blind recovery, body shot. But the interesting thing was, you really didn't have to master all of these. If you wanted to become a master pistolier, yes. But this is what I'm talking about, where if you wanted to say I was a merchant musician pistolier. So I was skilled on like pistol techniques, I think, in pistol marksmanship. But then I would go, in musician, I was like a master musician and had like a few of the trees in merchant. But I love the fact you could mix and match. You can make your character your own. But after the new game experience, though, they got rid of that. Now it was classes. Force sensitive was one of the classes, and it just went downhill after that. So I was really disappointed with that after that. And I played World of Warcraft after that, or maybe it was during that, because I was in the second or third. I think I started in the second beta of World of Warcraft, so I played the second and the third, because I remember having to submit the bug reports and stuff like that, because you're free bug report, free QA. But I played this Star Wars Galaxies more than I did World of Warcraft. But man, after the NG, I just stopped playing. I stopped playing Star Wars and just went World of Warcraft. But even then, I stopped playing World of Warcraft around the time the Burning Crusade came out. That was like the third expansion, I think, or something like that. I think I played that. No, I played Burning Crusade. It was the winter one that I didn't play. Wrath of the Lich King or something like that, I think. But that one I didn't play. I got tired of spending the money on it, Although I found out there was like a lifetime like statue you could get if you played it for so long. I'm like, that'd be kind of good to have, but the fact that it actually tells you on there how long you've been playing, I don't think I'd want that. Just to be reminded of how many hours and days and months and years I played, but I don't play MMORPGs anymore. I just don't have the time, unfortunately. I've thought about getting into Final Fantasy. Was it 14? Is it 14 or 12? I think it's 14. A few of my friends actually play Final Fantasy, the MMORPG one. I thought about that, but I've heard it's kind of like a little more difficult, like grindy. I'm not sure. I was watching I don't know if you're familiar with a YouTube channel, Joe Cat. Hang on. I'm not gonna play it, but because again, like I don't want to take away, you know, clicks. Joe Cat, crap guide to D&D. Yeah, okay. Final Fantasy 14. Yeah. So he does these crap guide to Final Fantasy 14, like Melee. They're hilarious. They're hilarious. But this is actually where I finally figured out. Like I started to learn about some of the mechanics, because as goofy as he makes it, he does actually have some like legitimate points in there. I think I was watching the one on DPS. Was it Melee DPS or DPS? And he was talking about how you had to watch your position to the enemy bosses or whatever, because they had these circles on the ground to tell you whether you're at the front, whether you're flanking or at the rear. So I knew that from these videos here, but I was like, good God, that's crazy. But I don't have, nobody want to play it. Nobody want to partner up because like I can't spend much time in the game. So maybe it's a good thing, because then I don't get sucked into MMORPGs anymore. Oh man. But yeah, MMOs, I enjoyed MMORPGs when I had the time, but yeah, I only play like one. I only play the one Azure Lane for a gacha game. And thankfully they're really I will say they're really generous when they have server maintenance. Like they give like the in-game currency, they give like a couple hundred pieces of it, you know, and they give you. It's nice to see that the devs are actually pretty generous with that stuff, so I can't complain about that. But all right, let me. Ooh, it's getting late. I'm just gonna do a couple of lessons on here, and then I'll call it a night. You know, because I at least want to get this done here. Oh, that's right. I gotta turn this off because I don't want to see. I eat fish. Pan wo tabemasu. Where's tabe? Yes. Oh, gee. Dude, oh my God, I know. There was one other guy in the chat, like, when was I doing it? I don't remember what stream it was. But I ended up talking about, what's the game? It was a World War II game, tactical game. Close combat or something like that, and I ended up talking for a good 20 minutes about the game. Oh my God. Oh wow. I think it's Sita Dakimasu. Okay, there we go. Mizu. Where's Mizu? Is that water? Yep. Which one is the water? Well, thank you for the meal. Have you ever played games in Japanese to practice? Yes. And there's been one or two games that I regretted it because I didn't realize how deep the RPGs were. I can't remember the name of it, but there was one game that was basically like a Final Fantasy Tactics type game, and it had a dating sim mechanic to it. And oh my God, I got lost so fast in it. But I do like visual novels because that's a lot easier to manage. I'll play a nice a good couple ones like is it Danganronpa? Steins Gate. I think Steins Gate is one that has Japanese language to it. That one I wanted to play that on stream, but I never could get the permission to it. And yeah, I know as an indie, oh, you don't have to worry about that. No, you kind of do have to worry about copyright claims. I mean, for crying out loud, I played one video and I got copyright claimed. I'm like, all right, I got to remove that. So it doesn't take much. And I would rather be really careful about the rules and make sure that people I want to work with me, you know, that they know I respect that, versus, you know, just say, oh, I'm just going to play it and to hell with the consequences, you know. But I have tried. And in the past, it was failures. So bad. Failures so bad. Especially when, like I've even tried using regular apps. Like, there's the, Nico Nico, I think it is, app, which is the Japanese video service, Nico Nico. Have you ever played Witcher 3? Because you can put voice over there. Don't hate me, but I own Witcher 3 and I have never played it. I played Witcher 1. I hated it because I hated the fighting mechanics. Witcher 2 I played. The mechanics were better, but still the spell casting was annoying because it was like symbols. I bought Witcher 3 because everybody was saying it was such a great game, so complex, and I just never installed it. I just never did it. So I should do that. I should do that. Yeah. Like, you know, obviously if I want. Yeah. To me, it's kind of like Dragon Age 3. I never finished that game. How far did I get into that thing? Like, I played the first Dragon Age, finished that. Played Dragon Age 2, finished that. And I know I'm in a relative minority here, but I like Dragon Age 2. I thought it was a good game. I thought the story was really cool, and it was the fact that it was taking place in one city, but it was like the city grew up, you know. So each act was like the city like 10 years later or whatever. I kind of like that. I thought it was really good. But Dragon Age 3, that thing was huge. And it felt a lot like an MMORPG because all of a sudden I had this huge task journal, this quest journal, and I'm like, I'm not even finishing them. And I think at one point the devs actually went on like line and said, please don't try to finish all the quests in an area. Move on to the next one. Come back till you can go back. But I can't do that. I'm a completionist. I'm like horrible with that. But I played it, and this is how crazy I thought it was. I played it, got to the first town fight or whatever, and yeah, I got as far. Okay, this is where it really the game humbled me badly, because I got to the first town or city, whatever it was, in the assault. And I remember having to run to 3 or 4 different points to try to help the party people I had accumulated fight. And all of a sudden, then, the big baddie, I guess, drops in. I don't remember very well. Drops in and almost kills my character, something like that. And I'm like, I'd already spent like 10 hours, like 5-10 hours on it. And I'm like, wait a minute, wait, what? And he leaves, and I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't the big fight? And then all of a sudden, I don't remember what happened, but all of a sudden my character ends up in a snowstorm, and I was confused as hell at that point. I'm like, wait, what? Like, am I supposed to do something? So I'm like, okay. So and the game, of course, released, and I move forward. I'm like, well, I'm walking somewhere. I'm like, where am I going? And then that was when I finally got to the castle that the Inquisition's based out of. And I'm like, 12 hours in, and I'm just now at the start of the game? Are you kidding me? Like, I knew this thing was going to be, I knew it was going to be like, this is going to be like brutalized. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. So yeah, I absolutely do have to. Maybe I can play, maybe I would say maybe play it on stream, but good God, that would be like, for me, because I only play like I only want to do like 1 or 2 hour streams just to be like, you know, considerate. Yes. I I will say I like the characters. I mean, if there's one thing I've loved about Dragon Age is the characters. I really do. I was sad in Inquisition when they brought back God, what was her name? Lorelei something or other. She was a redhead from the first series, I believe, from Dragon Age. She was like an assassin or a thief or something like that, but she thought that she was like, it basically kind of, the worst thing is that you can't sprint in the game. Is it really? I didn't remember. Oh, that would drive me nuts. That would drive me nuts. Liliana. Yeah. That Liliana, yeah. She, her accent, it was kind of like a pseudo French accent, but I loved it. I was so sad she wasn't like an official part of the group. Like, I get it. She was like with the warden, or affiliate of the warden or whatever. But like, oh man, I loved when she popped up. I'm like, wait, you're not part of the crew? No, what? Oh man, all right, fine. But God, I'm trying to remember who are the other party characters. There was the xenophobic elf guy. I hated him. I wanted to punch him. Then there was the Varric, yes, the dwarf, right, with his like mechanic, with his auto-loading crossbow. Yeah, that was the weirdest thing. Yes, like why would you bring Varric back from Dragon Age 2 but not Liliana? Oh man. Anyway, that was it. Was it Inquisition where you had to find the ashes, or was that, no, that was original Dragon Age, and you could choose to either corrupt the ashes or actually properly recover them, I think. Oh my god, it's been so long since I played that game. I know it was in Dragon Age 2, because Dragon Age 2 was very, very self-contained. And Varric was in 2. Solus, yeah. You like Solus? Like I said, I'm like, what, a quarter of the way through the game? I might very well have turned out to liking the guy. But don't take it like, I have a yeah. Like I said, I've only played a quarter. I was like an eighth of the game or something. I don't know. It wouldn't shock me to find out, oh, you're in a quarter? No, you only played an eighth of it, Dex. I'm like, oh my god, really? All right. But yeah, first impressions are hard with him, but I kind of get it because his backstory was pretty messed up too. But then you had one of the what were they, the Paladins? There was whatever that group was, the Templars. There was a guy from the Templars, I think. You had to choose who to side with, the mages or the Templars. That was Inquisition, or was that Dragon Age Origins? Oh my god. Or was that Dragon Age 2 now that I'm thinking about it? I don't remember. Huh. Okay, hang on. This is gonna drive me nuts. No, not Templars. They were the mage Inquisition. Okay, so it is Inquisition. Should the Templar? So it is the Templars. Okay, yeah, because it's very much as like Spanish Inquisition kind of feel. Inquisition, right? The Circle of Mages of the Templars. Right. Okay. Yeah. But you had to do that a couple of times. You had to choose one side or the other, if I remember correctly. Is it just those two? Because I swear there was another where you had to take two sides, and I don't remember. I just remember the big war table where you had to send out your party members to accumulate resources or something like that. Like that was about there's probably some guy on a quest for me, and it's been like 5 years or something like that, and I haven't gone back. Oh man, I think I actually installed it on here. I think I actually have it installed. Do I have it installed? Let me see. Inquisition, JKHIJ. No, I don't. Okay. I know I have it. Man. I don't know. Would I play Inquisition is even longer than is even longer than um like the freaking blanket of the name. The Witcher 3, I think. I think it's even longer because of all the side quests and stuff like that. Um I don't know if I'd want to play that on stream. I have thought about doing Skyrim because I've got over 1,000 hours in Skyrim. But I think I'd have to cut back on the amount of mods I use because I mod the hell out of that game. The funny thing is, I played over 1,000 hours, never finished the storyline. I just end up wandering. I get so sucked into the side stuff, and then the mods have their own things, and I'm just kind of like, oh wait, there's a dragon. There's dragons. What? I don't even think I got to the point where I think there was one playthrough when I stopped one save game where I did actually trigger the dragons coming back. But I don't think there was one I didn't. It was funny. Like, I didn't even know how I didn't do it, but anyway. I'm getting way, way, way off. Oh my god. Sengoku Dynasty is definitely going to be a day one purchase, day one play. No, I'm questioning whether I want to do Dragon Age. Yeah. I know, I think HoloLive, a lot of them were doing Skyrim. I mean, for crying out loud, Miko is known for GTA 5. I don't even know if my rig would handle streaming and GTA 5 or Skyrim at the same time. I'll have to try out a few test streams because I was so frustrated with the way Shifu played when I first started because I thought I had the settings all right, and turned out my internet couldn't handle the resolution, so I ended up quarter way into my night, having to readjust things again, and finally got it to where it played. But I mean, Shifu was a good game, but it's it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not sure if people are like it or not. I'm trying to play games that aren't really commonly done by other YouTubers, or other streamers. Really, I just want to play what I like. But that's a tough one because a lot of games I play, there's not a lot of story or not a lot of things that I could narrate. Like No Man's Sky, I would love to stream that. They just did a huge I think it's called Leviathan upgrade. They've really done a great job of the game, but it's kind of like me playing Mountain Blade Bannerlord. I love the game, but there's a lot of stretches where it's just watching me ride from one town to another. And No Man's Sky be the same thing. Go up in the planet, go from one planet to another. There's not a lot of conversation until you're on a space station. I think Sengoku Dynasty, Medieval Dynasty, I could actually do because you do have to go and talk with other villages and other towns. So there is some of that. And then there's the building of the town, and that might actually be fun to do. Dragon Age would definitely fit that. But if I remember correctly, there's voiceover in it too, so it would be mostly narrating myself. Now, KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic. I might want to do that. EA is pretty. I found their streaming guidelines, and they seem to be pretty cool with it, with streaming some of their games. I think. Yeah. I mean, Dragon Age, the first one, Origins, would be okay if I'm willing to do about 5 or 10 streams, I think. Unless I wanted to jump up and do a 3 to 4 hour stream, but I don't really want to do that. I don't have the time for that. And I don't think people would want to watch that. That's what clippers are for. And I suck at clipping my own channels. I know I'd probably have more people watching if I actually had VODs, and I don't because I have to go through and find stuff to clip. I just don't. I'm so judgmental of my own stuff. I hate looking at it. I'm like, well, okay, it seems good. Seems entertaining enough, but I don't think there's any moments to clip, So it's like, what are you gonna do? Shogunai, as they say. Oh crud! I want to get this done too. Go. Sakana. Oh, Yasai. Nope, sorry, Yasai. Okay. Oh, I don't eat vegetables? I do eat vegetables, but I guess I don't for the story. I will say doing Duolingo through the website throws me off because I'm so used to iOS correcting me. It's correcting my spelling, so it's like I have to stop and go, wait, it's not going to fix it for me. Niku to sakana yo kudasai. Niku to sakana. Oh. Uo. Uo. It's the alternate pronunciation. I hate that. Because the Duolingo does that too, where it actually I think Tanaka has a different, the kanji have a different pronunciation, and it will throw me off every time. Or is it Shigeru? I think it may have been Shigeru. Niku to sakana wa tabemasen. That one, please. That one, please. Sore wa mizu desu. You don't eat bread. I eat bread. Niku to sakana. Wait, was it tabemasen? Okay, yeah, so I don't eat bread. I don't eat meat or fish. Niku to sakana wa tabemasen. I eat bread. I do eat bread. I love eating bread. Probably why I'm a Sana-lite. Oh, man. I'm going to miss Sana. I'm going to miss her when she goes, because, like, she was so fun to watch. Dore... wait. Dore... was it Dore no mi... Okay, yeah. Are we on this guy? Okay, which one is it? Nope, what is that? Ah. That one and that one, please. Okay. Well, thank you for the meal. Thank you for the meal. Yes. I eat meat and vegetables. That one, please. Sorry, what is that? Are wa are. Is it? Which one is it? Nope. What is that? Ah. Okay. Confused myself. Oh man. See, that's the really hard part about doing VTubing, I'll tell you. Trying to figure out what to do that's going to be entertaining. Like, the funny thing, okay, I'll tell you. The funny thing is the streams I've done, I swear to God, I think these are going to be the lamest to watch, are some of the best ones I've got. You know, I mean, sure, my debut stream is still getting watches today, but you know, I don't think it's great because I was so nervous and I kind of rambled and I really didn't have everything planned out, and I wish I had. I kind of almost thought about doing a take 2, but I haven't done that. But the chatting streams, surprisingly enough, do really well, and I'm honestly shocked by that. No thanks. I mean, yeah, I will say this. I think one of the things that's working for me, at least, is that I am very, very realistic in my goals. I knew going into this, I had no experience as a streamer at all. I'd never streamed at all before this. And as far as content creation, I was used to making it for other people. And I was used to, say, voicing and acting and stuff. So I was used to being part of the creation, but not the one that originally created it. So the idea of now having to come up with my own content, that was a tough one. And on top of that, you know, I'm very introverted, and you know, not that that's an excuse, but it just makes things harder sometimes. And trying to find things to say and to talk about, like, sometimes I don't think it's going to work. And then sometimes, you know, it just starts. Like, I didn't have anybody in chat for the just chatting one where I talked about anime, but my God, something clicked. And I just started talking about, like, Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2032, which, again, my favorite anime. I started talking about Record of Lodoss War, Cowboy Bebop, Outlaw Star, Martian Successor. It was just one after another after another. And all of a sudden I realized, well, crap, over an hour's passed. Like, and that's actually been a decently performing VOD for me, you know? But I will say, as far as my goals, would I love to be monetized? Yeah, sure. But YouTube is brutal when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like, brutal. They want you to have, before they'll even consider monetizing you, you have to have 1,000 subs, and you have to have, how many hours? 4,000 hours of watch time. It's something crazy. Let me see. Where is it? Monetization. Here we go. So I need 1,000 subs and 4,000 public watch hours. Yeah. That before I can even think about monetizing. And I think a lot of features unlock at that point too. Like the community tab. The community tab opens up at some point, which I can't do. Which is a lot of stuff I can't do. Some people can actually post regular, like, static posts, you know, like notifications, like a notice post instead of a VOD. I can't see. I don't seem to be able to do that. So it must be like once you hit 1,000 subs, that unlocks. But when I came into this, I knew I had researched both YouTube and Twitch. I don't watch a lot on Twitch. Like, I watched Coefficient because I watched him from his Diary of a Sympathician, which is pretty much after I got into Hololive, because he, you know, him and Coco was hilarious. Oh my God. How he would watch it, and then she picked up that he was watching her, and then he correctly guessed she was from America, and that was fun to watch. And then I started watching Nags. He's got this great, like, where he's, you know, one Hololive after another. He's learning how they're, I think he's branching out into indies and Niji Sanji as well. Then there was my two quote-unquote sisters, because we have the same rigger. That would be Stella Vixen and Ruzu, I think. She's a dragon, half-dragon, dragon cyborg or something like that. I sometimes watch them. But as far as Twitch, I don't watch as much because I'm not a big fan of the app. And when I thought about, do I want to stream on Twitch, it has a lot of pluses for the streamer in that routinely you can gain followers fast on Twitch. It's made for streaming. That's what it is. It's streaming platform. It's made for that. YouTube is made for VODs. The algorithm loves VODs. The algorithm has no idea what to do with streams. So when they archive, then it's like, okay, that's a VOD, but you know, it still doesn't know how to market that, so to speak. But on Twitch, discoverability is a lot easier. And you can also monetize a whole hell of a lot faster on Twitch. But they have two levels. They have partner, and then there's something else. I can't remember what it is. But the problem is, the moment you start to monetize, Twitch actually has in their contract, they don't want you to stream on other channels, on other platforms. You're locked into Twitch. YouTube doesn't care. YouTube doesn't care. Like, if I get 1,000 subs, you know, hit the mark to monetize, they don't care if I stream on Twitch too. But Twitch would have a problem. So I was like, well, I think, and plus, you know, Hololive, Niji Sanji, Kawa, a lot of big VTuber agencies are on YouTube. And some of the indies I like Cozy Chew, Randon when he was streaming indie. They were on YouTube. But when I looked at Twitch, really it was the community. I think that really, not saying that the people themselves were bad. It was the way the community interacts with the streamer that really kind of put me off, because there's so many different ways that the chat can interact with the streamer. And I think some of it you can turn off and on. I haven't looked at the dashboard. I have a Twitch channel. I just haven't done anything with it. But watching a lot of these streamers, it's like there's engagement. And if you're cool with that, great. For somebody like me, it's nerve-wracking enough with just you in the chat only. But having somebody, yeah. Well, you also have, bits, you've got coins, you got gifted subs, you've got resubs, you've got hype trains, you've got what do you call them? Raids. And I'm like, what? And every time I see the streamer go, hey, thanks for the sub, they stop what they're doing to acknowledge it. And yeah, well, it's nice to thank somebody. Like when you monetize on YouTube, sure, you can get super chats. And yeah, a lot of times I'll see somebody say, hey, thanks for the super. Okay, fine. Yeah, it exactly. And I think that's the double-edged sword, where, I mean, YouTube gained the ability to quote unquote raid. I can't remember what YouTube called it. I actually have it set up. It's like in my channel settings. What do they call it? Hang on a second. Community, is that under this channel here? Moderators, live redirects. So they actually enabled that. So it's basically like raiding another channel where you can actually redirect your users to watch somebody else, which is cool. But I think you have to be a certain level. I have it set up where somebody could do that to me, but I've never tested it because the people I watch aren't online, and you have to be connected with them. So both of you have to approve both ways. So there's that, but I don't know how I would handle the chaos of Twitch. Like, it really seems like it's chaotic, and I have a hard enough time just trying to think on my own right now, let alone a bunch of people spamming stuff like you're saying, like filled with spam, and it's like really chaotic. I mean, not to say that people are bad. Like, the Nags' Twitch chat, they're really nice, There's coefficients that are really nice because I'm in the chat with them sometimes, and I just lurk. But it's nice to see the way that they engage nicely with the streamers sometimes. But then you watch some of the ones like from Vishojo. Like, I sometimes try to watch Iron Mouse, because when I found out she was a coloratura soprano. Yeah. But when I found out she was a soprano, I was like, oh, another opera singer, sweet. But that was where I started to see how chaotic the chat can be, kind of like that. And some streamers ask for it, some don't. But I know I'm planning on staying on YouTube for a while, for quite a while. I've actually had some people leave a comment or DM me like on Twitter saying that they wished I was on Twitch because they would watch me. And it's one of those few times where I'm like, do I really? Would I? And I'm like, not right now. Not right now. I got enough worrying about right now as it is. But I'm not going to be, and like I said, when I came into this, my goal was simple. In 1 year, I wanted to have 100 subs in a year. And I wasn't even planning on having any collabs at this time. I just wanted to keep it very simple. Yeah, I mean, exactly. You gotta watch too. Like, the bad thing with YouTube is the copyright ability for people to file copyrights. And you know, I watch things VTubers say, False ID's channel, and there's been a few recently where it's frightening, where you see people stealing content from some of the VTuber ASMR artists and posting it as their own, and then copyright claiming the original artist VTuber and getting their channel taken down. And it took like a few weeks for YouTube to finally get their butts around, straighten it out. Yeah. Well, and Twitch has got the concept of metas, which really, and I'll tell you, I was talking to somebody on the last stream. I'm so horrible with names. But we were talking, and I talked about how I've been a graphic designer for over 20 years. So I was a freelancer for the majority of that time. And I've had people steal my logo. When I used to do like heavy corporate identity design, I've had people steal my logo designs and slightly tweak it, you know, but it's clearly there. And I've had to try to go to court, and it's just sometimes, depending on the size of the client, they're judgment proof. They don't have enough money to pay, you know, so it's like, why bother? But I had one client that wanted me to, literally said to me, there's this other group in a neighboring state has this logo. I want you to take that and use it. And I'm like, you're kidding me. I just stared at her for a moment. I'm like, you're kidding me. You want me to steal a logo? She's like, are you calling me a thief? I'm like, you literally just said you want me to take a logo and use it for your own. Like, no, I'm not going to get involved in that. Of course, I had a couple of designer friends who was like, dude, Dex, you should have taken it, done it, and then reported her. I'm like, dude, no, I'm not going to do that. That's not my style, man. But, yeah, copyright, because of that, I'm just really sensitive to it. Like, the music you hear on my channel right now, like, I reached out to the artists that composed this music. And the music is from a channel called premiumbeat.com. I've used them in the past for other clients and stuff when I did social media management for them. And the music's really good. And the copyright licenses are relatively inexpensive. But because these are made for commercial, like, you know, national commercials, like car commercials and stuff like that, I'm like, I want to reach out to the artists to make sure they're cool with it being on a YouTube channel, you know? Like, this is basically a theme song to my channel, you know? And they were really cool about it. They were like, you know, thank you for reaching out. I appreciate it. As long as you pay for a copyright, you know, copyright agreement, we're cool with it. I'm like, awesome. And, you know, they wanted to follow too. So I was like, great. But I wanted to make sure that I had all that copyright stuff in place, because the last thing I wanted was to get copyright struck, you know? 3 strikes and your channel shut down without any warning, you're done, you know, and no chance to argue about it. But like you said, Twitch has the same thing too. But like I was saying with the metas, I couldn't believe it when I found out that some of the big time Twitch streamers were like watching straight up anime without commentary, just watching it and playing it on their stream. I'm like, are you intentionally trying to get hit with copyright stuff? And the funny thing was, watching them and their other fellow streamers act like they're shocked that they got taken down. I'm like, you were asking for it. But I understood that the reason they were doing it was trying to fulfill the contractual obligations of being a partner, or I think it's a partner. I think affiliate is the first and then a partner. But partner is insane when you have to have a certain number of hours streamed per week or something like that. And I'm like, that's just crazy. So they're just looking for ways to make easy time, fill up easy hours. And I get it, but that's just crazy. Like that. The viable solution is to like watch all of Bleach, you know, on your channel, or I can't remember what somebody was watching, but it was like they got taken down midstream. It's like, dude, I don't know. So it was like those rules are really the reasons that, and the Twitch engagement was the reason I picked YouTube. And I'm staying here for a while, unless YouTube really jumps the shark. And does something boneheaded stupid that I'm like, you know what, guys, I can't do this anymore. I'm moving over to Twitch. Or maybe there'll be a new platform that'll come out that's way more favorable to content creators. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. But I know really the reason why I'm not like being really successful is the lack of odds. Everyone there's a really cool streamer. He's on Twitch, but he does for free these he has a YouTube channel where it's stream scene, I think is what it's called. He has a website where he actually talks about how to be a streamer, best practices, dealing with copyright. It's great. I mean, the guy could charge for that, but he doesn't. And the videos, the VODs are like 12 minutes long. And he talks about how you need VODs, you need recaps, you need, especially for streams, you need like clips, you know. And there's a YouTuber, VTuber, Rayless. If you like, he's really good. I kind of like him. He's actually on TikTok, surprisingly enough. He does these 1 minute lore videos on VTubers and stuff like that on his TikTok, and he's done it really good. A lot of people watch him when he does his videos on how to audition for like HoloLive and Niji Sanji. Like his metrics go up crazy, but he's funny. He's got this really nice deadpan kind of voice, but he's funny as hell. I love it, and he's really knowledgeable, and he's like really. He even went through at one point to some of his viewers who were streamers and analyzed their channels. And every one of them, he was like, you need VODs. You have to have VODs because the YouTube algorithm loves VODs. And I absolutely see that. Like, I'll tell you, hang on, let me do this here. I'm using incognito so my metric analysis tools don't pop up because it drives me nuts. I love the fact that just searching for Many Mesh comes up, because when I first started doing this, I didn't come up with it at all. I was like, I'm not good enough, YouTube. But when I started doing these, like these dose of dad jokes, like these actually performed pretty well. And I was surprised that I was getting responses, but I just never did it again. Even the one I did, which was, hang on. There was one I did. Yeah, this one here. This was my attempt at a recap. The 34th death in a Sekiro stream, and the bad guy, the chained ogre, threw me off a cliff, but turned out he threw me onto a tree and saved my life. So yeah, I clipped that, and it did pretty good performance-wise. It's got 4 views. It's not great, but compared to other ones, it's not bad. But yeah, like this one here got 9 views for me playing Rogue Company, the first one. But the second one only got 1 view. So it's kind of like trying to analyze what works the best. This one right here, this is the one where I was talking about anime and went off on a long tangent on Bubblegum, like I said, and just went on a rant in a way on Sword Art Online, the fairy dance arc. Oh my God, I hated it. I went on a rant about that. But that got 12 views. Like, it's one of my higher performing VODs. The only really one doing better is like this one with 116, my debut video. But the Sekiro ones, were doing pretty decent. And then because I didn't like the quality of the stream, I switched over to Bannerlord, which I thought was a little less demanding on the game and stream. And it did okay, but I kind of worried that they just weren't exciting. Like, like you were saying, as far as like Dragon Age being as long as it is, might not be exciting. Well, I kind of got to thinking that's the same for these. I did this 1 month anniversary, and that one got some pretty decent views too. So it's kind of like you're trying constantly to guess, to figure out what people are going to actually want to watch and stuff. But, like you said, kind of like you said, you do you. And yeah, I'm going to keep on doing what I want to do, because what's the point in watching of somebody if they're not enjoying what they're doing, And I don't want to do that. I really don't want to be like a slave to the metrics or the algorithm, Yeah. So, oh God, that's horrible. XP progress, dude. That sucks. I know I said one time, Yeah, Metaslave. Oh my god. Metaslave. I was shocked, honestly. I'm used to metas in video games, like in collectible card games and stuff like that. I am not used to metas in streaming. Like, why is there metas on anything? My god, man. What I will say, I have been trying to get my iPad to stream through, and there's supposedly, you can supposedly direct connect, and maybe it's because I have a hub and it didn't work. I don't know. But I really want to get to the point, like I said, like we were talking once before, I really want to also do like practice writing the kana and stuff, and I really want to have my Apple Pencil for that, you know, actually writing it out. So hopefully I can get that, because I just don't want it to be, you know, like I said before, I just don't want it to be just Duolingo, even though Duolingo has been helping me, but still, you know, a little variety never hurt. But God, yeah, this is cool. I actually like it when I start talking and you know, I get the engagement, like especially with you, Oni. You're a good conversationalist, man. I appreciate that. But sparkling water. I gotta drink some. I don't want to just drink sake here. Oh God, this new rig in my this new rig actually shows me drinking. My God. I'm still trying to tweak the settings on this thing so it doesn't look as crazy, but I do like the extra responsiveness, but it's like it's not getting all the vowels. I'm just trying to figure out the best way, but I'm gonna try it again. Hang on. I didn't do it that time. Oh well. Dragon fruit berry. Do you need a capture card? I know for some things you need a capture card for these things. I'm going to peel back the curtain a little bit. I'm actually gaming on a laptop, on a notebook. I actually boot camped. Well, the good thing too is, like, this is one of the benefits of being a small streamer, is that I can actually. I don't know what I would honestly do if I was trying to deal with like the levels like Gura or any of the Hollow Stars now, like Vesper Noir, watching him. I'm so glad the guy's getting success. I watched him when he was in indie. He's so adorable. He's so funny. I love him. But it was weird, like watching him as an indie when he had like maybe 20 people in the chat. Now he's got several hundred in the chat. And it's so nice. It's like the difference between night and day. So I kind of happy that when I only have like a small handful of people, you know, it's so much easier to manage. I would be terrified if I logged in and there's like 300 people waiting, and I'd be like, nope. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Because I'd sit here, I would literally sit here and go, okay, hang on, I got to go through everybody. Hang on, what? Okay, hey, hi, you know. I'd be there for like an hour just trying to respond to comments. Oh, man. But seriously, thank you. I appreciate it. Because, like, it's one thing to talk to myself, because I do that all the time anyway, but doing it on camera is weird. But to actually have somebody talking back and answering and responding, I think it's really good. You know, it's kind of the whole point of this, you know? But I think I'm going to wrap it up. Well, it's almost 2 o'clock my time. I know you're in Australia and you're like 13, 14 hours ahead. So it's like daytime for you. You're like early afternoon or something like that. So, all right. So let me switch over here. Oh, wait, I'm already on the right stream. Oh, I'm not used to having the, there we go. I'm not used to having that, I'm not used to having that visible. All right. There we go. Yeah, I'll try and get some sleep. I still got some work to do. It's not 3 o'clock yet. But yeah, you take care of yourself too. You have a good weekend, man. Like, you know, I know it's your Saturday already, but, yeah. Oh, man. But thanks again for stopping by. I'm hoping to have a stream Monday. I'll obviously make the updates on Twitter and stuff like that. As much as I love Twitter. Got to use it. But thanks again for stopping by. I really appreciate it. So, and I'll see you again, and I'll see you next time. And I'll do the outro here. And for everybody else watching the VOD, if you happen to be watching this long, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I hope you all have a good weekend, good week, good day, good evening, good night, whatever it is for you. Sayonara, buenos tardes, and have a good night.